Gas prices could be seeing lows that haven't been recorded in 3 years. Now, this all comes as prices drop for the 7th week.
Yeah, right now, Gas Buddy is reporting a median U.S. price of fuel at $3.18 a gallon. Those prices are even lower in the Carolinas. North Carolina drivers paying $2.90 on average. In South Carolina, that price $2.73. Gas Buddy analyst, gas price analyst from Gas Buddy, Patrick DeHaan, joining us. Patrick, thank you so much for waking up with us this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So obviously, the big thing is we're talking about low gas prices. People love that. The next question is, how low could they go?
Well, I think we'll probably stay solidly under $3 a gallon for most of the rest of the year. I think they could get down to the mid twos, but probably not a whole lot lower than that. And it may take a little bit of time. You may see some fluctuations here and there. A lot of this is happening because, first of all, seasonality. Americans simply don't drive as much. Temperatures are starting to cool off. Road trips are over. Summer's basically over. And so demand for gasoline has fallen. In addition, earlier this week, we made the change over to cheaper winter gasoline. That's going to help, but it'll take a little longer. The other issue as well, the more volatile part of this puzzle, the price of oil last week fell to its lowest since 2021. That paved the way for some of these lower gas prices. But like I said, that's the part that's a little volatile. The Fed planning on cutting interest rates today. That could kind of change the future of oil. So there may be some bumps here and there, but I think most of the rest of the year, we should see the average price stay kind of around or below that $3 a gallon mark.
Oh, we like that here in the Carolinas, Patrick. That is good news to our ears. In case you didn't know this, we're going to be the first to tell you it's a political season. I know you haven't probably been following politics. No, we know that a lot of politicians like to claim that the gas prices rise or fall based on their time in office, right? We've certainly heard Trump's claims. And it's interesting when you look back, because you've talked about this recently on social media, when you look back at Obama, Trump, and Biden, both the highest and the lowest for gas was during the Trump presidency. Does he have the power? Does a president really affect the price of gas that much?
Well, I think what a lot of Americans think is the president can affect policy, but those policies can take years to have an impact on oil markets. And a lot of people incorrectly say, well, the $5 gasoline was Biden's problem. It was actually a function of the pandemic. The economy was ripping and roaring. And that's what contributed to the rise in price. Americans wanted to get outside. And even with $5 gas, people were driving everywhere in the summer of 2022. And also part of that was because of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Now, both of those have kind of faded to the rear view. And that's why we're finally getting a break, is because the economy has slowed down. And again, a lot of that has nothing to do with the president. A president can have very, very small impact. But keep in mind, the U.S. is just one of over 170 countries in the world. To think one person has the power over a global commodity is a little bit misdirected. All of this is really based on supply and demand. And that's why, by the way, prices are falling now, not because of some election conspiracy. But as I mentioned, Americans simply don't drive as much as temperatures start to cool off.
Patrick, you were mentioning, obviously, we have all of our eyes on the Fed hopefully cutting interest rates this afternoon. So say they go ahead and cut interest rates, what effect would that have on gas prices?
Well, it could go either way. I'm not going to be looking at the cut amount so much as what the Fed says about why they're cutting, because a 25 basis point cut, well, that could disappoint the market and potentially send oil lower on the worry that that might not be enough, whereas a 50 basis point cut could be a huge sign of potentially an economic slowdown. So it really could be do or die this afternoon when the Fed does announce a cut. It's all going to be in the words they choose. And that's why analysts like myself are not going to be looking at the cut, but we're going to be diving very closely into how they deliver the cut and what the words from the meeting say.
All right, words matter. Even Patrick DeHaan is going to be watching that meeting later today. We appreciate your time. Again, Chief Analyst with Gas Buddy. Always a pleasure to talk with you in the morning, Patrick. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.